So who is Yealink? We're going to obviously give a bit of a background because that's key as to why you would consider the Yealink conference phones, why we sell these ones, how to sell them, and then why you choose the Yealink conference phone. So just quickly, a briefing on the background of Yealink. Yealink have grown, they're well over 10 years old now, new to the market in terms of telephony. They only specialise in IP telephony. They have had annually double-digit annual growth. Fastest growing, the top fastest growing company in the IP space in the world. In terms of global market, their global share in IP handsets grows year on year. At the moment, they currently sit as the #1 SIP phone provider in the world. Now, this is open SIP, IP phones. One of the key things about Yealink, I think, to their success has been that they invest a lot into their R&D to produce quality product. Now, anyone that's experienced using their phones knows that the phones actually don't give a lot of grief. They do last a long time. There's very low return rates on them, and that's a big plus for one of the reasons as to why the Yealink phones have taken off. They've got world-class design in terms of their features, and they're well priced for the features that you do get on there. So just really well thought out range of products. Company strengths, they continue to pour a lot of money into their R&D. They are an R&D company. We need to think of them first and foremost as being an R&D company. All of the products that they've got in their range have come from the ground up, from their own development team, and they're leading the way in terms of development in a lot of inbuilt technology and codecs and, say, noise proofing technology that they've got on board their product, which are patented. They are a global company, so they do have offices worldwide, but predominantly work through channel partners, distributors like ourselves here in Australia. And they've got phenomenal support and service into their channel. So from our perspective as a distributor, we're well backed with regards to having access to their R&D team if we need to, for any, hardware level problems or firmware level issues that do arise, which really in the lifespan of when these phones have been out on the market, it's been very, very few hiccups, with regards to their product range. So when you take all of this into consideration, they come out with a conference phone range. We know that it's been well thought of in terms of their R&D. It's been well designed. Anything that they've found to be inadequate or unavailable in terms of conference phone requirements, they've gone and developed that technology and patented it to include in the conference phones. And of course, they're manufactured to the highest quality standards and distributed through a supported channel worldwide. Yealink's got many global technology partners. These partners are your PBX switch carriage, partners that we're talking about, that their phones and their gear is certified with. They've got extremely close relationships with all of these guys. So what you'll find is that as soon as a new phone becomes available on the market, these platforms are already certified to use those phones. And that's one of their strengths as a leading global provider of the endpoints. Also, in terms of partners and customers, ranging from small, medium-sized business all the way up to major carriers worldwide, including here in Australia. You'll find that the Yealink phones are used, with our biggest, brands of carriers, including Vocus, Telstra, TPG, etc. So, yeah, very well-known brand. Okay, and of course, having been successful in the IP phones, they've also now come out with an audio conferencing phone series, which is going to grow. So more and more development is going to be going into this area over the next 12, 18, 2 years going onward. So this range and what they're offering is in this range is going to grow. So why sell conference phones? So we take it a step back. Let's peel it back a little bit. A lot of service providers, resellers, they focus on the core telephony offering to the customers, and the customer requirements. But often the conferencing or the conference phone is left out as part of that offering. It's often considered as being an add-on or not considered at all, or maybe it's just part of a video conferencing or a collaboration system that seems to be separated out from the telephony. What we're saying is, well, the conferencing needs to be considered. So we're just bringing some ideas and I guess, forefront of your mind in terms of conference phones, make sure that these are included as part of your offering. Okay, so we know that end users are thirsty for conferencing and conference phones. Right? There's more and more demand for having functional collaborative spaces. So we have 60% of conference attendees join from a conference room. So if you are joining a conference, it's usually from a conference room, and that can be from a small meeting room, say 2, 3, 4 people, all the way up to a boardroom, of 10, 20, or a training room. So we know that this is a growing space. More and more private rooms are developed within companies, end users, and also remote workers and satellite offices need to be connected back into the main hub of the organisation. So organisations are tending to become decentralised and more mobile workers as part of that. So we need to bring people together to communicate ideas, to enable efficiencies within and productivity within the organisation, to get across deals as fast as possible. When they're not all together in the same office, and your customers and your suppliers are not all within arm's reach of a visit. In terms of research, Yarlink have dug up quite a lot of research in terms of trying to understand, is this a real market space in which we need to get into? The R&D that we put into our products, are we going to get a return on our investment? And the resounding answer to that is yes. Right, so we do know that there's an increase, about 41% of audio conferences happen multiple times per week in organisations. So this is just a general research that has happened by a company called Wainhouse Research. 27% in daily audio conferencing, and about 40% use of audio conferencing over and above the year before. So we do know that there's a strong use of audio conferencing within the market space, within end users. We know that 60% of attendees that join audio conferences are from a conference room. 69% prefer to conference using a landline. So audio conferencing is still a positive, preferred method of conferencing over and above, your video conferencing or your collaborative types of conferencing. So some of the things that the end users found in terms of when the research delved deeper into the issues that they found is that things like background noise, not being able to understand when there's more than one person speaking. There seems to be an unnatural interaction, so you're waiting and, pausing. Call clarity was an issue. And also, everyone keeps their lines muted, so it's not really collaborating and talking to each other. So there's a decreasing intolerance, I guess, of poor audio quality, difficulty in terms of complicated meeting setup, difficulty in dealing with background noises that occur, like if you are having a huddle or a meeting, often it'll be, so if you're a remote person, you might be at home and you've got kids in the background. It's always a challenge. If you're in an office space, you've got people walking past in the hallway laughing and carrying on, or you've got workers on the next cubicle that happen to be on a phone call and they've got loud voices. So there's a lot of different things that can actually inhibit your effective participation of a conference. So voice is the foundation. Now we need to be able to pick up on the actual voice that is speaking at the time over and above the background noise that's occurring or other people talking. All right, so it starts with audio. Yeah, video is great, but audio carries a lot of messaging, right? And it's easy. How easy is it to pick up a phone and dial anyone in the world? Conferencing and audio conferencing is of the same nature. You can dial a phone number and be in a conference with multiple parties quite easily without necessarily needing to understand the technology, you know, troubleshoot your camera and also be worried about the bandwidth required when you are going to video conferencing. So audio conferencing is still a key, you know, to people collaborating and getting together to discuss ideas and to talk. So audio conferencing is not a thing of the past. It continues to grow wider and deeper in the market space. But there is a call for more reliable audio conferencing. And Yarlink have recognised this. So what they've done is that they're coming out with more optimised codecs, optimised voice quality features, you know, to distinguish between voice and background noise, multiple speakers and multiple parties within a location. They also recognise that there's not always ideal bandwidth and network conditions. And also a prohibitor is how easy is it to actually start a conference and start talking to somebody? You know, how quickly is it to connect people in? Is it very fussy? How easy is it to use? How intuitive is it to use? So we'll go through some of those things. Benefit for you as a reseller, as a provider of IP telephony, is that it can actually add additional revenue, right? So you've already got the audience and you've already captured your customer with respect to the telephony side of it. With a little bit more, you can add an additional revenue by talking to them about their conferencing needs. So we do know that there's just by volume, by sheer volume, so if a site has got, say, 10, 20 phones, more than likely they're going to need a conference phone. We do know that a customer in general, you know, that has got a lot of workers is also going to need conferencing of some sort. Now, you can own the entire telephony solution. So for you, there's a benefit in being able to own the entire telephony solution rather than the conferencing being handled by somebody separate or another brand or another company that does the conferencing. It also gives you an opportunity to upsell from audio, you know, to more collaborative systems later on down the track when they're ready for that. Yarlink also have excellent, good channel management and support. Everybody's aware, if you've already been buying Yarlink and you're a supporter of the Yarlink phones, that they've got strict pricing policy and price controls, which is basically makes it fair for everybody to be able to, you know, buy and sell their product and make a good profit from it, and you're not competing against pricing, price gouging and price reductions in the market. They also have got channel support through things like demo programs and incentives and promos. At the moment, we're also running some promos as well. So what we try and do is we support in a number of different ways to enable you to make it easier to sell the conference phones. Another thing that's is important to note is that Yarlink's redirection provisioning service makes it very easy for you to be able to connect a conference phone and be configured back to a PBX in the cloud or on-premise as well. So what we're aiming for here is that the conference phone, as well as the phones, becomes a zero-touch setup. Right, so it's drop-shipped to the customer, they plug it in, finds its MAC address in the RPS, points to the server where its provisioning is located, downloads it, and it's up and running. How to sell the CP. All right, so we're going to just run through some common scenarios. Now, I'm just going to unmute. If you want to ask me any questions at this point, I'll just open up the floor if you want to just go into chat and say, yes, I want to ask some questions, and then I'll just unmute your mic as well. Okay, so I've already got some here. We're having any plan for a smart board type product with a conference phone like Cisco Spark? Okay, please ignore my question. Sorry about that. Well, we can look at, look, there is a lot of development going on with Yealink in terms of their products going forward, in terms of wireless products, in terms of daisy chaining, and in terms of just making their products broader ranged as well. So, meeting rooms, easy setup Bluetooth speakers, and things of that nature. Okay, heading back to the presentation. How to sell the CP. A common question that comes up with customers. A challenge, we don't need conferencing. Right? Clearly, somehow they've managed to convince themselves that they don't need conferencing. The answer to that is yes, but what about the need to get things done, to get faster outcomes? I'll give you an example, real estate agents. Imagine if you could conference in with your customer and bring in somebody that's a matter expert, say a solicitor or somebody like that, to talk about, specific points on a contract, right? It just enables things to happen a lot faster and for you to provide outcomes on those items a lot quicker. So if you've got me calling a customer who says, have you found out about X, Y, and Z? No. Okay, just a moment. I'll call you back. I'll walk over or I'll ring the person that knows the answer. I'll give them a call. They'll tell me, yes, that's the answer. Then I'll try and call my customer back. Sorry, can't get them. Okay, I'll leave a message for you. Can you call me back? Etc. Round and round we go in circles. Much easier if whilst I'm on the phone, I can actually conference in somebody or pre-set up a meeting so that we can go through some notes and have all of the relevant parties, that have got an interest in that particular subject or that topic, to be able to talk and collaborate and argue out and turn over points necessarily, so that at the end of the session, we're all on the same page. Another challenge is we just use a desk phone for our conferencing. The answer to that is, well, it's a better user experience if you do have a conference phone. Let's talk about the desk phone, even a top-end one like the 246 or the 48. The advantage to the customer is that, okay, they've got a range of them. They can just take out any of their phones and plug them in and put them on loudspeaker, and everybody huddles around the phone in the meeting room to do a conference call. The issue with that is that the phone itself is not designed for multiple people huddling around into a conference call. It's got a single speaker that points in one direction. It's got a single mic that points in one direction, which means that anybody that is huddled will tend to huddle in a semicircle around it, or they'll lean into the phone to try and understand what's being asked. At the other end of the conversation, if the person happens to be quiet, the volume button goes up and it just starts to distort, other people in the conference that have got louder voices. So not really designed for multi-party conferencing where you've got a number of people huddling around the phone listening in. Also, if they're talking over each other, the phone itself is not designed to be able to offer noise proofing, noise cancellation to that level like a conference phone. So a conference phone's designed for 360 projection and pickup. So the speakers are 360 degree projection of sound, and pickup of the mics is 360 degrees as well. It has multiple mics and multiple speakers for that purpose, to be able to have that pickup around the room. It means that you don't need to lean in to the conference phone. They also have built-in technology designed to be able to discern between background noise and unnecessary noise and people that are speaking. The codecs are designed differently to be able to discern multiple people speaking, and also from the other side, when you've got multiple parties that might be talking, those voices being able to be heard distinctly and also projected into the room distinctly. A positive experience means that you're more likely to use these tools for collaborating, for conferencing, and therefore you have better business outcomes occurring within the organisation. It's just easier. It's just nicer. And I'll talk a little bit about the HD quality, the high definition voice could be greater. Now, these things can't necessarily be measured, but it is measured in terms of the simple example of something like customer calls in, I've got to put the phone down, I've got to go and find out what the answer is, you know, go to multiple people to find out what the answer is. We can go round and round in circles trying to get on the same page in order to get the one response back to the customer. Right? In a conference, all the parties are together, and you can actually resolve and get to the bottom of issues and be on the same page with regards to, you know, the topic of choice much faster. It's much more efficient for the organisation to include conferencing. The conference phone also pays for itself. So in terms of, you know, I mean, this is fairly subjective, these figures, right? But time setting up, time wasted on poor audio quality, unusable bandwidth, you know, the time of the, you know, cost of the time wasted in terms of trying to utilise overcomplicated technology as well. So a conference phone, simple audio device, can pay for itself. Another one is affordable market price. Yealink, as with all of their products, enable you to get maximum features at affordable pricing. All right, so they're all about getting, you know, big bang, you know, for most bang for your buck, right? So it's making sure that the products, if it's easy to use, it's more likely to be used more often. In terms of deployment, make it easy as possible for the ones that are offering the technology to roll out the technology. There's low RAs or fault returns, so it's a good investment. And we don't have the budget. I'm not going to run through this slide too much, but there's many ways to offer the solution as part of your offering back into the customer. Now, these are suggestions that Yealink have put together because it's the kind of feedback they're getting from worldwide global channel partners. This is how they offer the conference phone as part of their telephony offering. So some ideas, you know, with regards to how to enable you and how to help you to also offer a conference phone as part of your telephony offering to your customer. Another challenge is we've got an existing system. So the conference phone technology, you know, it might be a few years old, the existing system, but conference phone technology has vastly improved, particularly when you've got a company like Yealink who invest a fair amount of money in their R&D to come up with new patterns and new technology to enable conferencing, audio conferencing, to be as best as it possibly can. So the codecs themselves, high definition voice codecs, have vastly improved over the last few years. The sensitivity and capability of the mics themselves has vastly improved, and also the quality of the speakers, the actual hardware that's used in them. The underlying technology in terms of noise cancellation and noise-proof technology, new developments in that area have been implemented as well in the conference phone technology. Also, the ability to be able to deploy and redeploy and has improved as well with the new tools that are out there. So the newer phones are more likely to be compatible with the latest PBX versions and carriers on the market. Also, ease of use, far easier to use. Now, this is a big plus. The newer technology, particularly the Yealink, is far easier to use than some of the older technology, which means that your customers are more likely to use this as a valuable tool in their business. Also other technology, so conference phones were either for your telephony or they were part of a PC-based, a video conferencing or conferencing system. Now you can use the same device in both environments. There's also other things, so that if they do have an existing system, at the end of the day, you've tried to convince them why they need to have a look at replacing a conference phone. There are companies we can plug you into where an offer can be made for their existing gear to be bought, bought from them secondhand, which enables them to utilise that budget towards replacing for new models. So what's HD voice? So high definition voice is that your normal standard traditional telephones, you'll see the little bars in the middle. Down the bottom is the human voice, so the human voice range. Traditional telephony, either in wideband or in narrowband, only covers a certain category or certain bandwidth of the human voice at any one time. So what you'll find is that things tend to flatten out and sound a little bit clipped. New technology, high definition voice technology that's been implemented with the Yealink CP960s covers a broader range than actual human voice. What does that mean? It means that the tone inflections, the message is not just about the words that are used, but it's the tone, it's the ups and downs, it's the pauses, it's the volume increases and decreases, as you can hear in my voice at the moment, which accentuates and decentuates, which gives you the passion or, whatever is behind that message, that also conveyed as part of the communication to the other party. It's a better the message itself is better communicated. So in terms of the CP960s, the voice pickup, it's wide enough for every situation. So it has 24, out of the box, it's 20-foot voice pickup range, which is double what the old CP860s used to have. So typically a boardroom that can fit, say, 12 people on it would be typical. Here they're talking about large meeting room with, over 10 people. They've developed a product, a technology that's built into the conference phone called Yealink Noise Proof. It's critical for, where you've got private and for private and quiet environments. Over here you can see the pictures of the multiple areas of where conferencing might be used. And as I said, there's always background noise going on, people typing away, or you can hear clutter in the background, people walking around, you can hear phones ringing. So there's a lot of different background noise, that might be occurring, which can interrupt a conference that's in progress. So background noise can make it very unpleasant. People in the conference, it's not such a bother because your ears get attuned to just what's in that conference, but that noise is picked up. Now, if you don't have noise cancellation or noise proofing technology in your device, both the background noise, let's just say it's a phone ringing, and also the person speaking are equally picked up by the device, go through, the codec, to the other side, and the people on the other side, it's translated back to them. They can hear both of them equally. Right? So it's important for the device to be able to distinguish between what is a background noise or unwanted noise and what is a voice. All right? So it can distinguish between voice and noise. And here again, we can see that. So what the technology also includes is that it auto-mutes when it doesn't detect human speech, right? And it also auto-reduces background noise when somebody is speaking. Quick and easy meeting. So we start with selecting. So the Yarlink has what they call a 5-way meeting, right? So you can click on the first number, start the meeting, touch one of the pentagon circles, add the phone number, dial, and then add them into the meeting once they answer. And so around the circle you go. So very quickly you can add 5 participants into the one meeting. Right, so yourself as local, you click on one of the circles on the pentagon, look up the phone number, dial. When they answer, invite them into the meeting with a plus, they're part of the meeting. So with very, very little training, in fact no training, this is really quite intuitive. You can be in a 5-way conference very, very quickly. It also tells you who the active speaker is at any one time, so it'll light up as to which one is actually speaking, which location or person is actually speaking. So very, very quick to get started when it comes to audio meetings. The hybrid UC meeting, so if let's just say you've got a mobile phone or another device, you can connect your device using Bluetooth or USB cable directly to the Yarlink conference phone. Make a call as usual. All right, so Bluetooth pairing via mobile phone, add in a SIP call from a phone or also via soft phone. Any one of those can be brought into the conference, any one of those means, and they're automatically routed to the Yarlink CP unit, and you can click merge and the calls, they're all merged into the conference. So again, you don't need to have an IT administrator on hand to be able to help, you know, bring in the different forms of people wanting to connect into the conference. And also easy usage. So there's a lot of other onboard tools that are available on the actual device itself. So the CP960 has a touch screen colour display, makes it very easy to utilise. And you know, everybody is used to using their mobile phone with apps and colour screen and touch screen, quickly direct and get and started on what they want to. So why the Yarlink? All right, so great test results. Yarlink did a study, as they always do, before they come out with a new product into the market. And in December of 2017, they conducted a reseller survey on the phones that had been introduced into the market last year. 156 resellers participated in the survey and they provided their opinions. We actually also rung a number of our resellers to get their opinion on their experience with the devices as well. And these are the typical responses that came back to us. Top of the list, you've got enhanced voice clarity and also the 20-foot microphone. They were, you know, two of the key advantages of the actual CP960 and 920. So, and also down the bottom you'll see things like the hybrid UC meeting capability. All right, so what this indicates is that the CP960 920 hit the mark when it came to what customers are looking for in audio conferencing. Some of the core challenges that we find is from the customer's perspective, they are looking for cost saving. Conferencing enables you to provide cost savings not only in your processes but also in travel costs. So if you've got offices and you have a regular sales meeting, you can conference people into that sales meeting, or if you have members of the board wanting to conference in, they can do that via audio as well. So there's a number of ways to provide cost saving. They wanted high quality. So if you are going to have a conference, let's make it so that it's a pleasant and positive experience and that you can hear everybody, you can get heard as well, and the message is loud and clear as to why the meeting was conducted and what the outcomes of the meeting are. It also needs to be easily deployed and easily used, so that it enables everybody in the organisation then to want to be able to quickly get on and use the gear as well. From a reseller's perspective, the product itself needs to be profitable. While we talked about how Yealink channel is well managed, it needs to be easy to sell. They've come up with a quality product that we know has got some really well-designed technology on board, and it's at an excellent price point within the market. It's also a very high-quality product, as with all of the Yealink products, and easy to deploy. So Yealink achieved the balance between what end users want and what resellers want by offering a best-in-class conference phone at an affordable price, managing their channel in terms of how that device is available through the channel, and also providing adequate support, you know, for the channel to the end user on all of their product. So in terms of Yealink, again, some of the keys with regards to the Yealink conference phone is that they've got a complete portfolio which continues to grow. So we'll see new products come out towards the end of the year. There's some new add-on features like daisy chaining and wireless capability that will be coming out, you know, in Q4. More things happening to broaden the range in 2019. Voice quality will continue to also improve. So we see that with Yealink, they're big in terms of R&D of voice quality. So their T4 series, we saw the underlying voice codecs and voice quality features be updated with new firmware, new version of the T4 series, and they'll continue to do that, no doubt, with the conference phone as well. It is at an affordable price. We know, compared to other products on the market, the Yealink, you know, is always pitched at an affordable price because they want more people to be able to use their product. There's great channel support in terms of the product itself, and, you know, channel support comes in the way of enabling you to be able to make profit, less competition in terms of pricing, competitiveness, managing online prices, and managing, you know, the strict structure of pricing, you know, through the channel to everybody that buys the Yealink phones, as well as the tech support that is available and the local warranty support. And of course, the ease of use, a key factor, because if it's difficult to use, less people want to use the product. If it's easy to use, positive experience, makes it easy for everybody to get on board and start using their product. So we have the 920, the 960, and currently, which is also Microsoft Teams certified, or about to be Microsoft Teams certified. At the moment, it is Skype for Business certified, and also the 960 with the additional wireless mics. So the 920, they're all the same shape. The 920 is the entry level. It's designed for small to mid-sized meeting rooms, has a number of different features on board, including built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB support, has the Optima High HD voice quality and the 20-foot voice pickup, as do all of the devices. The 960's got the touch screen, colour touch screen, the Pendicom meeting room, easy addition of adding people into the meeting room, and also will come out with, in September, the ability for daisy chaining multiple devices together. 920 at a glance. Key thing here is that it can support PSTN calls with an adapter that's available from Yealink. The CP960 at a glance, ideal for your small, for your medium to large size meeting rooms. The talk time on the actual wireless mics and develop, you know, before it needs to be charged again. The standby time is quite, you know, quite long. One of the things with wireless technology in a conference room is that people forget. And so, therefore, it runs out of charge by the time the next conference call needs to be made. But, you know, these have got a fairly long charge time. So CP960 has completed nearly 1,000 professional customer tests, and from those customer tests, Yealink got close to 100% praise rate. One of the things that we found is that every time we sell one of these units, NFR, or we provide a test unit, every time it's a positive experience that comes back. And a lot of people will buy the loan unit that we've lent to them because they want to keep it. Even when they're selling other brands of phone, the Yealink conference phone, they're found to be an exceptional quality product, easy to use, you know, just meets the expectation of everything that we've talked about. So 5 reasons to upgrade to Yealink conference phone. All right, so availability from a reseller's perspective, we have plenty of stock and we know that they're reliable as a unit. They meet the data sheet expectations. Rich conference features on board, intuitive and quick start in terms of meeting and getting started and connecting. They've got the onboard technology for noise elimination and also high quality voice, audio voice. From an end user's perspective, when you've got these things in place, it encourages teamwork. There's quick adoption with regards to usage of conferencing, which then translates into improvements in productivity for organisations. And it just enables people to be connected, you know, through using conferencing. They want to use the conferencing. There's no prohibitors in terms of using the conferencing, and that saves the company time and money. So thank you very much. I'm just going to unmute. If you've got any questions, please, by all means, go ahead and ask questions. Okay, there's no questions, but you can contact Alloy Computer Products. You know how to get in touch with us. So if you've got any questions, by all means, please do so. This recording will also be available for download, and any of our sales staff or our technical team can help you or answer any questions that you might have. So thank you very much for your time this morning. Have a lovely day, and we look forward to seeing more of these conference phones being sold to your customers. So bye for now.